Once upon a time, in the heart of a vast and ancient forest nestled between snow-capped mountains and sparkling rivers, there lived a little squirrel named Sammy. Now Sammy wasn't just any ordinary squirrel. He had a spirit of adventure that burned brightly within him. A spirit that yearned to explore beyond the familiar oak tree that stood like an old friend at the edge of their clearing. One crisp autumn morning, while the forest was adorned with the vibrant colors of scarlet, gold, and brown, Sammy decided it was time to venture into the whispering woods, a place spoken of only in hushed tones by the elder squirrels. They spoke of towering trees so dense that they blocked out the sun and twisted roots that reached out like gnarled fingers. To the uninitiated, it was a place of shadows and secrets. But to Sammy, it was a realm of mystery that beckoned him with an irresistible call. Before he embarked on his journey, Sammy decided to seek out Old Whiskers, the wisest squirrel in the clearing. Old Whiskers, with his fur as gray as the moonlight and eyes that twinkled with ancient knowledge, had stories about the whispering woods that sent shivers down young Sammy's spine. The whispering woods are filled with wonders, Old Whiskers began, his voice a low rumble, but also with dangers. You must be cautious, Sammy, for there are creatures in those woods that have never seen a squirrel before and might want to make one into a meal. With a final warning to stay close to the oak tree after sunset, Old Whiskers let Sammy go, his heart heavy with the weight of responsibility. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, Sammy set off into the woods, his bushy tail held high. At first, the forest floor was a kaleidoscope of fallen leaves, crunchy under his nimble paws. The air was sweet with the scent of pine and damp earth. But as he ventured deeper, the undergrowth became thicker, the light dimmer. Soon, the joyous symphony of birdsong was replaced by an eerie silence, broken only by the rustling of leaves and the distant cawing of crows. The trees, once friendly giants, now loomed over him, their branches intertwined in a dense canopy that blocked out the sun. Sammy felt a prickle of fear along his spine, but he pressed on, his determination fueled by curiosity and a touch of bravado. He scampered up moss-covered trunks, leaped over fallen logs, and darted through the underbrush, always listening for the rustle of approaching danger. As the day wore on, the forest grew darker, and the whispers in the trees seemed to grow louder. Then Sammy saw it, a clearing bathed in an ethereal glow. In the center stood a magnificent oak, its branches reaching towards the heavens like a welcoming hand. Relief washed over Sammy. He had found his haven for the night, a sanctuary from the unknown dangers that lurked in the darkening woods. As twilight began to paint the sky with hues of purple and orange, Sammy climbed the oak. To his surprise, he found not just a cozy nook for the night, but a whole community of squirrels. There were bushy-tailed newcomers like himself, wide-eyed and curious, and grizzled veterans who seemed to know every twist and turn of the woods. Among them, Sammy noticed a particularly striking female squirrel. Her fur was the color of polished mahogany, her eyes like glistening jet beads. She was the most beautiful squirrel he had ever seen. And Sammy, usually quick with a joke or a playful taunt, found himself tongue-tied in her presence. Sammy decided to be brave and introduce himself. "Hello, my name is Sammy. What's yours?" The beautiful squirrel looked up from her gathering, her gaze meeting his with a mixture of amusement and kindness. "I'm Flicker," she replied, her voice as melodious as a songbird's. "And welcome to our little corner of the Whispering Woods." Before Sammy could respond, a gruff voice boomed from the shadows. Well, what do we have here?" "A lost little squirrel who doesn't know his way home." A large, hulking squirrel emerged from the darkness, his eyes gleaming with malice. His gaze fell on Flicker, and Sammy saw a flash of something primal, something possessive in the way the big squirrel regarded her. It was clear that this bully was interested in Flicker, and it made Sammy's blood boil. He knew he had to do something, anything to defend her honor. But what could a small squirrel like him do against a bully twice his size? Sammy thought quickly. "Actually, I'm not lost," he retorted, trying to sound braver than he felt. "I'm exploring. I'm a hero on a quest." The bully laughed, a harsh, grating sound that echoed through the clearing. "A hero, eh? And what exactly are you going to do, little squirrel? Slay the big bad wolf and rescue the princess?" Sammy didn't back down. "That's right," he said, puffing out his chest. "And if you don't get out of here, you'll be the big bad wolf." The bully's eyes narrowed. He took a threatening step forward, and then, as if realizing the absurdity of the situation, burst into laughter. "You're a brave little squirrel, aren't you?" "Well, I guess I can't argue with that." "But why do you care about my lovely Flicker?" Sammy blushed, suddenly self-conscious. He hadn't expected the bully to pick up on his feelings for Flicker. He stammered, I just thought, well, you shouldn't treat her badly." The bully stopped laughing. For a moment, there was silence except for the whisper of the wind through the trees. Then the bully did something unexpected. He nodded his head in acknowledgement. "Thank you, little squirrel. Perhaps I have been a bit hard on her. After all, she is my sister." Relief washed over Sammy, followed by a wave of embarrassment. He had almost made an enemy of the squirrel community by trying to protect Flicker. He looked down at his paws, ashamed. Flicker, sensing Sammy's distress, jumped down from her branch. "Don't be sad, Sammy," she said, her voice soft and soothing. "It takes all kinds to make a forest, and sometimes even heroes need a little understanding." The other squirrels, who had been watching the exchange with amusement, began to chatter among themselves, their voices a comforting hum. As the night deepened and the stars twinkled above, Sammy found himself enveloped in the warmth of the squirrel community. They shared their food, their stories, and their laughter. And Sammy, in spite of his earlier fears, realized that the Whispering Woods wasn't just a place of danger, but also of camaraderie and kindness. When the moon was high in the sky, casting long shadows through the trees, it was time for Sammy to rest. He snuggled into a cozy dray, his heart full of gratitude for the welcoming squirrels and the beautiful Flicker. As sleep claimed him, he dreamed of adventures yet to come, knowing that tomorrow he would wake up not just as a little squirrel, but as Sammy, the brave little squirrel of the Whispering Woods, the next morning. When the sun painted the forest floor with golden light, Sammy awoke refreshed and eager to explore more of the Whispering Woods. But as he stretched and yawned, he remembered his promise to Old Whiskers to return before sunset. With a newfound sense of purpose, he set off to find his way back home. The forest, now bathed in the warm glow of morning, seemed like a different place. The towering trees had transformed into benevolent giants, and the rustling leaves whispered secrets of hidden wonders. Sammy followed winding paths, each turn revealing new vistas of beauty. He marveled at the intricate patterns of moss and lichen on the trees, the delicate dance of sunlight and shadow on the forest floor, and the sweet songs of birds hidden in the leafy canopy. He found a babbling brook and drank deeply of its refreshing water, feeling invigorated for the rest of his journey. As midday approached, Sammy began to feel a sense of urgency. He needed to find his way back to the oak tree before the shadows grew long. Remembering Old Whiskers' advice, he climbed to the top of a tall tree for a better view of his surroundings. From his vantage point, he could see a familiar landmark, a gnarled tree with a hollow trunk where he and his friends often played hide and seek. With renewed determination, he raced towards the landmark, his paws pounding on the soft earth. And there it was, the oak tree, its branches reaching out like welcoming arms. Relief and joy surged through Sammy as he scampered up the tree and called out to his family and friends. The clearing, bustling with activity as the squirrels went about their daily routines, was filled with happy chatter. Sammy recounted his adventures to his family and friends, each twist and turn of the tale drawing gasps and cheers. The elder squirrels, impressed by Sammy's bravery and kindness, praised him for his actions. And old Whiskers, with a twinkle in his eye, declared that Sammy was ready to explore more of the Whispering Woods as the sun began its slow descent. Casting long shadows across the forest floor, Sammy knew it was time for another adventure. He was no longer just a little squirrel, but a hero known throughout the Whispering Woods for his bravery and compassion. And as he ventured into the woods, accompanied by Flicker and the other squirrels, he knew that the forest, with all its wonders and challenges, was his home.